Hello, my name is Miss Bradley and I'm the subject lead for food nutrition. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about how you can support your son or daughter within the subject, as well as some of the course details. So let's start with a question. If you look at the 4 drinks on the screen, how much sugar do you think is in each one if our daily recommended intake is 30 grams? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. I'm going to come back to it at the end to find out how much is in each one. Let's have a little look at the course structure. So it's broken down into 2 sections, 50% for the controlled assessment and 50% for the written exam. All of these are undertaken within year 11, but we build up our skills and knowledge within year 9 and year 10. So if we look at the controlled assessment, it's broken down into 2 sections, NEA 1, which is non-examined assessment, and NEA 2. NEA 1 is a food investigation whereby pupils will have to investigate into the function of a certain ingredient. This will also be accompanied by a written report, and pupils will have 10 hours to complete this at the beginning of year 11. They then go on to complete their NEA 2. This is 35% of their GCSE, and pupils will be expected to plan, prepare, cook and present their 3-course meal within 3 hours. This will also be accompanied by a written report whereby pupils will look at nutritional analysis, primary and secondary research, skills, time plans and evaluation. Pupils will also take the remaining 50% of the GCSE by way of their written exam. This will include a lot of overlap between the controlled assessment as well as using all their knowledge from year 9 and 10. On the screen, you will see our learning journey that we have within food. Pupils have this stuck within the front of their books, as well as they have access to this via the Google Classroom. If they choose to use the Google Classroom version, they can click on each of the topics, which will show them the lesson resources, as well as a recorded lesson in case they miss anything from the lesson. We have on the screen the AOs as well, which is the assessment objectives set by their exam board AQA, which we have based all of our learning journey on. It indicates to us that we need to cover a vast amount of learning, and so we encourage as much independent learning at home as possible. So what does successful outcomes look like within food and nutrition? Well, as you can see, it looks very yummy, but it's not all about the cooking, and that's something I really stress. We have a lot of written reports to complete, a 2-hour written exam, and so that's why 50% of our time is spent cooking, while the other 50% is based on theoretical knowledge. So success would look like fantastic outcomes visually, but also high skills, so really driving out some really fantastic thorough and detailed outcomes. As you can see on the screen, this is some of our outcomes from previous years gone by from NEA 2. Everything was handmade, everything was presented to an immaculate standard, and this is what we strive for within the department. But as I said, it's not just about the cooking, and there's lots of different elements that make up the whole of the GCSE. So we have the NEA 1, where we have to investigate. Sometimes we don't have a practical outcome from that, and that's just about investigating and looking at the differences between different ingredients. We have nutritional analysis using programs to indicate, was what we made successful and how can we evaluate against the task titles? We have time plans. Can pupils successfully follow their time plan with minimal help? And of course, as I mentioned previously, looking at striving to get high skills, high outcomes practically. If pupils are ever stuck with what a high outcome looks like, within the Google Classroom, there is lots of information about what high skills they can strive towards. So how can you help? Well, again, on the Google Classroom, we have this resource, which is hyperlinked to be able to have easy access to buy any of these resources. But you don't have to necessarily buy the revision books. Students have free access to Seneca, Bite Size, which are fantastic resources that can quiz them, teach them, as well as an online textbook that saves them lugging around the school textbook that we have within the classroom. There are plenty of revision websites as well, and I urge that pupils are accessing these weekly. We also have our PLC, our personal learning checklist, which is available on the Google Classroom, where pupils go through and independently rag how they feel their knowledge is within each topic. It's a vast document, but hopefully the aims are that pupils feel that they are aware of what they are being examined against. Other ways that you could help: attendance to school is vital. And if your son or daughter is to miss a lesson, please encourage them to access the lesson via Google Classroom so that they don't miss out on any of the topics. Ingredients brought to all practical lessons, particularly when we are looking at new skills, higher skills, and also developing those skills at home. Help practice with them anything that they might find a bit difficult, any new skills that they might be able to develop. And of course, the washing up goes without saying, because they definitely get marked against that as well. Time past papers is a great way. Just looking on the AQA website will give you a vast array of different past papers that they can have a go at. Timing them, allowing them to have reflection on that and being able to review that with you will really, really help their exam technique. Looking at their personalised learning checklist via the classroom, or they also have them at the back of their books, going over some areas that perhaps they may be struggling with. Discussing their green feedback sheets when they get particular topics marked, or perhaps they've had a green feedback sheet via an assessment, and reviewing how perhaps they could improve. And looking through their Google Classroom, there is lots of resources on there for them. And I know sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming. So being able to go through that with yourselves might help them. So just to end on, did you guess them correct? It's quite shocking when you start to think about how much sugar is actually within our drinks. Although sometimes we can focus on the foods, actually some of our hidden sugars can be within our drinks. So even our flavoured water has 24 grams of sugar, right the way up to a chocolate milkshake at 45 grams. So hopefully that's given you something to think about. If you find you have any questions or you would like to reach out to me at all, please do. My email address is on the screen, or you can telephone the school and speak with me. I hope you found this useful. And as I said, please get in contact if you have any questions.